Dublin, and we're going to start in fine style because we welcome forward a combination that have already been winners here with us at Dublin this week. He rides around the world winning Grand Prix for Ireland and part of winning Irish Nations Cup teams as well. Hailing originally from Derry, it is Jordan Coyle. Jordan with Millview Cicero for Ireland. And we need to get you warmed up for the puissance, ladies and gentlemen, so you need to do better than that. Jordan Coyle for Ireland. So just a single rail down at the Children of Lear double in front of us here at the President's Box side of the ring for Jordan and Millview Cicero. So 69.18. The other riders will be interested to see that time taken against the time allowed of 71 seconds here early in the class. We go on then to Mexican Olympian, one of the top-ranked under-25 riders in the world sport at the moment, with H5 Nostalgie, a winner of a class very like this at St. Gallen in Switzerland in June of this year. It's Mexico's Carlos Hank Guerrero. It looks like, having had the Carmore Abbey windows fenced down, Carlos Hank and H5 Nostalgie are going to retire on course. This is last dance, last chance for a Rolex Grand Prix qualification. There are 4 final places available for qualifiers for the start list of tomorrow's €500,000 Rolex Series Grand Prix out of this class. So that's why we see some serious horsepower, and none less than in this format here. A German team partnership in the Nations Cup last year at the Brussels Stefex Masters, itself a Rolex Series show. This is Carter 1-0 and young talent for Germany, Leonie Bachmann. It's a real effort question to have the triple combination so late on course, and there's a rail there, rail at the last, one more elsewhere on course, and a time for 12 for jumping, 1 for time there for Leonie Bachmann and Carter. Our next horse and rider pair have already picked up their Grand Prix qualification during the course of the week here at the Dublin Horse Show, so riding just for the honours here of the Dublin Stakes. It is French Olympic gold medalist and Rolex testimony Kevin Staut and Vida Loca. Kevin, a winner last year of the Rolex Series Grand Prix at Dinard in home soil in Brittany in France. Two down for Kevin and Vida Loca there in 69.56, goes second best on our ranking at the moment. Jordan Coyle's 4 falter with Millview Cicero leads the way whilst we await our first clear round. Well, of all the victories this man has enjoyed in this arena, perhaps none came sweeter than his son Ben's victory last night in the 1-2-8 ponies. After he jumped a clear that secured a podium place for Ireland in the Agacan, a competition he's been on the winning team of 4 times. Olympian for Ireland, Olympic medalist for Ireland, with Genghis Khan DeLonde, Cian O'Connor. So just going to retire there on course, Cian O'Connor and Genghis Khan DeLonde. We will, though, see Cian in tomorrow's Rolex Series Grand Prix of Dublin, already qualified. It'll be interesting to see what horse he takes forward there to try and retain a title he has previously won. To County Cork for our next contender, another Olympian for Ireland over the course of his career, a 2-time Olympian. In fact, it is going to be with Corian van Klapskuit, a rider who also already has his place in our Rolex Grand Prix. We welcome and wish the best of luck to Shane Sweetnam. Shane and Corian actually had a podium place in a very, very good class at the 5-star, the Chio in Aachen, that features that Rolex Grand Slam Grand Prix. 2 down, 8 fourths there, just inside the time for Shane Sweetnam and Corian van Klapskut. And that will go into third at the moment. Kevin Staut, the fastest of our 2 8-4s. Still waiting for a clear. 4 faults is what leads the way. But it is a jump-off format as well, so we will be jumping off all those in equality of first place. A rider who's previously finished top 5 in our Grand Prix here in Dublin, a graduate of the prestigious Young Riders Academy. It is Susan Fitzpatrick. Susan here with the horse that gave her a podium finish in our Speed Stakes on Wednesday. It is Lovely Stassie. Lovely Stassie and County Kilkenny's Susan Fitzpatrick for Ireland. So those Georgian street lamps down, unfortunately. The bright yellow centre grading out to black on the colour of those rails at number 11, going away from us. Susan Fitzpatrick on 4. So at the moment, in equal first. As things currently stood, we would jump off the 4 faulters, but that would change if we get a better score. A new horse since May now for the native of Caracas, Venezuela. He has been a Pan American Games rider for his native country and has been a popular visitor to us for the 2025 Dublin Horse Show. This is Tashita and Venezuela's Luis Fernando Larrazabal. So Louis also going to retire there with Tashita. Louis, though, over the course of the points accruing classes here this weekend, has picked up his ticket for the Rolex Series Grand Prix tomorrow. So we will see him in that next and final big class. Tomorrow, our 5-star tour here in the main ring has the Speed Championship and the Rolex Grand Prix. Also the finals of the International 7- and 8-year-olds, in addition to which we've got 2 prestigious national young horse titles to be decided here in the morning as well. The National 5s and the National 6-year-olds. Now to County Tipperary for our next to go. It is Konrad Obolensky. for Trevor Breen. Trevor and Konrad Obolensky picked up a third-place finish in our Minerva Stakes on Wednesday. And again, not just jumping as he would like, so electing to retire from this class again, though. We are going to see Trevor, double clear hero from the recent Nations Cup in Falsterbo at the Rolex Series show. Trevor will be back for tomorrow's Rolex Grand Prix as well, pre-qualified. County Tipperary's Trevor Breen, ladies and gentlemen. Well, now one of the absolute legends of the sport, and actually such a frequent and successful visitor here to Dublin. She's one of the legends of our show as well. Part of the US team here yesterday. She's been on winning Aga Khan teams. She's come very close in our Grand Prix as well, and she's come very, very close in some majors this year, including the Rolex Series Grand Prix on home soil in Wellington, Florida. It is US Olympic gold medalist Laura Kraut and Emeraldo. There it is. There's our first clear round of the afternoon here in the Dublin Stakes for the award of the Wylie Perpetual Trophy. Get any further clears, then we have that jump off of 0 scores to split for the win. Well, she heads out, ladies and gentlemen. I think we could do a little bit better than that. Our first clear round of the afternoon. Laura Kraut, Emeraldo, the USA. Well, next to go, we go to the rider who stood reserve for our leading team yesterday in the Aga Khan, the Netherlands. It is Bas Moerings. Bas, who has been with us here in Dublin before. Today, he shows in the Dublin Stakes with Kavinia. Denied at the last, unfortunately, the back rail off our fence right down there by the in-gate here in the main ring at Dublin. And that is going to be 4 faults for Bas. And in terms of time, 70.91 will go into 4th position. Susan Fitzpatrick sits 2nd now, with Jordan Coyle in 3rd. Laura Kraut are only 0 score, although Bas Moerings came about as close as you can get. Well, in this competition to seek qualification through to the Rolex Grand Prix, we welcome forward Olympian multiple winner on both sides of the Atlantic, including recently the Grand Prix of the 3-star tour at the European Championships, multiple 5-star classes in North America as well, is where he is based. Hailing once again from Derry, it's another member of the Coyle dynasty. It's Daniel Coyle and Legacy, his Paris Olympic horse. Time fault as well, unfortunately. The last down for Daniel and Legacy. 4 for jumping, 1 for time. Goes 5th at the moment. There are just 4 qualification places available from this class for the Rolex Series Grand Prix, but that is excluding all of those already qualified. If Daniel had been clear, it would have been almost assured. Now he just has to wait, watch, and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, Olympian Daniel Coyle. So going to one of those qualified riders, Nations Cup rider on the Aga Khan yesterday as well for Great Britain, with BP Baxter, the Irish bred from the Ballypatrick operation down in County Tipperary. BP Baxter and Adrien Whiteway, Great Britain. Four faults then for Adrien, and BP Baxter, 70.27 the time taken, so that will go into 4th position. Susan Fitzpatrick still the fastest 4-faulter in 2nd place, 68.81. 1 clear round still. It is Laura Kraut and Emeraldo, with 1 foot in the winner's circle at the moment. But about 45 starters due to see in this Dublin Stakes for award of the Wylie Perpetual Trophy. So surely there's a clear or 2 more to be had. The tone goes now for 2-time Mexican Olympian and career winner of the Aga Khan here in Dublin with the Mexicans back in 2018. Always a popular visitor to us with Chaluri PS. Let's wish him the best of luck. Eugenio Garza Perez. One down, 4 faults. Good time, 69.46. Goes top 5 at the moment for Eugenio and Chaluris PS for Mexico. Well, a championship rider for Ireland and a medalist in the sport of eventing, now producing a great string of show jumping horses here at home in Ireland and making it through to the 5-star tour here at the Dublin Horse Show. Hailing from his native Galway with CDS Capog Tomi, Cathal Daniels. Cathal Daniels and CDS Capog Tomi is quite the step up for them this 5-star week, not just the atmosphere of this ring. It is going to be 16 faults here today. But lots of experience picked up as Cathal becomes more adept at a second discipline in the sport. Well, Great Britain, our most successful nation in the history of the Aga Khan, had an exceptional second round yesterday, but they'd left themselves too big a hill to climb with their first round score. But one of those second round clears came from this man, a graduate of the Young Riders Academy and championship medalist for Great Britain, riding It's Confidential, Joe Stockdale. Joe and It's Confidential, top 10 this spring in the 5-star Rolex Grand Prix at the Royal Windsor Horse Show. It's a time fault, unfortunately. Joe Stockdale, It's Confidential, 71.84. So that's one for time. Laura Kraut remains our only clear. Joe Stockdale on 1 will sit second for the moment. Going on then to Canada. It's great to welcome our Canadians with us here this year. This is a man who was born within just a couple of yards of the Spruce Meadows venue in Calgary, Canada. He's travelled and ridden around the world, and he rides here his La Balle horse, owned by his great owners, the Rain family, together with Ara de Fourche. This is Glamour de Chanu and Canada's Kyle Timm. There we go. Now we've got to jump off on our hands for absolute certain. Kyle Timm, Glamour de Chanu, give us clear round number 2. It's an all North American affair at the moment. USA versus Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, clear for Kyle Timm. So they'll come back in the order in which they qualify. So Laura Kraut will set the standard. Kyle Timm will be the first one to try and shoot that down. How many more will join them? Love to see this man in there as well. Rolex testimony, a man who's been successful in this ring right the way through since ponies, right through to winning our Grand Prix here in Dublin. With Conquest de Rigo, it's Irish Olympian Bertram Allen. There we go. Clear round number 3, and it's an important one as well, because that could be the ticket for Bertram Allen to reappear tomorrow also in the Rolex Grand Prix of Dublin, a Rolex Series event. Clear round, and it's the first for Ireland, ladies and gentlemen. Let's really raise the roof. Bertram Allen. To Switzerland, our next contender then is going to join us. This is Crazy Nut, a 5-star horse for this man in Hong Kong this spring. Part of the Aggie Khan team for Switzerland yesterday. We welcome back to the main ring on his first visit to us here in Dublin, Dominik Fuhrer. Inside the time, 8 faults there, 2 late faults for Dominik Fuhrer and Crazy Nut. Well, next to go, it's going to be a newly formed partnership for this 2025 season for a Brazilian championship rider based in France. It is Pedro Junqueira Muylaert. Rode this horse in the EEF Nations Cup semi-finals in Deauville, and we saw them in action during the 5-star Rolex Series show at Falsterbo in Sweden. With Jem Veller, Pedro Junqueira Muylaert, Brazil. Just that one fence down, and 69.93 on the clock will sit 8th on our ranking at this stage, Pedro and Jem Veller. Well, next to go, it's wonderful to have him back here with us at Dublin every year from his base in North America. He has been on the podium in our Grand Prix before. He won the Aga Khan for us in a jump-off against France by half a second a few years ago. Partnered here with a horse produced on the national circuit by owner Ollie Glancy before joining his string in May of this year. This is Clonterm Obolensky and Ireland's Conor Swail. Clonterm Obolensky and Conor have already done their job for our country, being on the team that was second in the Nations Cup recently in Michigan. That late 4 faults, unfortunately, in the triple combination there for Clonterm, Obolensky and Conor. That's going to put them 8th with a time of 69.75. So it is 3 clear rounds currently qualified for the jump-off. Laura Kraut, the USA, Kyle Timm, Canada, Bertram Allen for Ireland. Do we get another one here with one of the highest ranked riders in the world to come to our show here in Dublin this year, the new European champion and a career winner of several majors on the Rolex circuit, including the Grand Slam Grand Prix of Geneva. Riding Event de l'Erebus, it is for Germany, Richie Vogel. Richie bested for second place earlier on with the RDS Stakes. He was a winner of the Sport Ireland Classic earlier this week with Fenio. Well, 12 horse there for Richie and Event de Leribus. Richie, part of the second place German team here yesterday. He's enjoyed some success so far here at Dublin. Of course, that class win on day one. Could he be our Rolex Grand Prix winner here on Sunday? We shall see. Just in front of the President's box, the striking grey is PSG Starlight for former Aga Khan winning rider and Swiss Olympian Bryan Balsiger. Bryan hoping to join our three currently qualified for the jump-off and with it perhaps secure his qualification for tomorrow's €500,000 Rolex Grand Prix. So Bryan pops the hand up and indicates formally that he retires on course. So PSG Starlight and Bryan are going to go down at the end of the leaderboard with those who've chosen to retire. We're going to go through a run of those now already qualified for the Grand Prix, and therefore they could be having a real competitive cut at this class here today. We start with a horse and rider pair that were part of the winning Irish team this year in Abu Dhabi in the League of Nations Team Series. It is Cheddington, Hazy Tulana, and for Ireland, Jason Foley. Thank you, Jason. So that is, again, going to be retirement on course, Jason and Cheddington Hazy Tulada. But Jason has his ticket for tomorrow. We'll see him line out in the Rolex Grand Prix of Ireland here in Dublin, that Rolex Series event. Well, a rider who we've seen in the winner's circle already today alone. He comes now with his top 5 finisher from Wednesday's Speed Stakes. This is HHS Cyprus. It is Mikey Pender for Ireland. Just going to take number 2, the Ardagh Chalices, over in front of the Anglesey Stand redevelopment side as a courtesy event, and retiring on course, Mikey Pender, HHS Cyprus. But don't despair, we'll see Mikey tomorrow. Mikey's also a career winner of the Defender Puissance, and of course you already see the big red Defender wall here, centre ring of Dublin, standing by for that class, 6 p.m. tonight. On we go then to Donald Whittaker, the winner last year of the King George at Hickstead. Donald, a top 5 finisher in that same Grand Prix competition at our sister show at Hickstead just a fortnight ago. Ulania and Donald Whittaker for Great Britain. Bypassing the last, which will indicate that he retires here on course as well, Donald and Ulania. Well, now the red coat of Switzerland rejoins us. We welcome back a many-time visitor to us here in Dublin, an Olympic medalist as well, riding his Nations Cup, his team horse from Falsterbo in Sweden, the Rolex Series show. It is Oppelacke de Roton and Pius Schwizer. Pius already a podium and a top 5 finisher with us here during international competition for Dublin 2025. Last goes as well, unfortunately, the front rail off that last, just down by the pocket, and the Rolex clock. Pius will therefore score 16 for jumping, plus 1 for time, total of 70. A multiple championship rider now for Germany. This was his championship horse at the Rotterdam Europeans in 2019. He's a rider we saw on the German team finishing second yesterday here in the Aga Khan. It is former World Cup champion, European champion, and Olympic medalist, Christian Allman. Christian with Clintrexo. So around with just the single fence on the floor for Christian Allman and Clintrexo. 4 faults in 70.39 seconds, going 11th on the ranking. Still just 3 clear rounds. Laura Kraut, Kyle Timm and Bertram Allen for Ireland, who will be coming back for a jump-off. Well, now with his European Championships horse from La Coruña just a couple of weeks ago, we welcome back a double clear hero from yesterday's winning Dutch Aga Khan team. With Pretty Woman van Paradise, it is Willem Greve. What a week he's having, and what a string of horses he has to choose from for that Rolex Grand Prix tomorrow. Pretty Woman Van Paradis now in line to maybe take victory here today in this competition for the Wylie Perpetual Trophy. It is clear round number 4 of the afternoon, and it is for Willem Greve, the Netherlands. Well, talk about your double clears in yesterday's Aga Khan. How about doing it at just 20 years old and on your Aga Khan debut for your country? The young talent from County Tipperary with Do It Easy. We welcome back here after his success yesterday, Tom Watchman. Double clear in the Nations Cup, a class winner, and now into this jump-off in the Dublin Stakes. What a week he's having. Tom Watchman is clear. And each one of those accolades achieved with a different horse from his string here this weekend as well. About 10 years since he jumped clear on a Friday evening in the 128s, and look at him now. We go on then to another one of our exceptional young talents in this country, just 21 years old, a multiple youth championship medalist for Ireland over the last few years, including this summer at Riesenbeck in Germany. On the National Grand Prix circuit, almost unbeatable as well. With Florida Menil, it is the turn now of Ireland's Niamh McEvoy. Well, look at us now. Suddenly it is 6 clear rounds and 3 of them are for Ireland. Let's hear it once again, ladies and gentlemen, the incredible talent that is Niamh McEvoy. Shaping up now suddenly to be a very, very good class. The Dublin Stakes for the award of the Wylie Perpetual Trophy carries on as we welcome back a former Aga Khan winner. He is partnered here with the horse that he has ridden to the very, very top level and then was ridden by Matt Sampson for a team silver medal at the European Championships this summer as Timm went into semi-retirement. Recoupled here together 12 months later after they appeared at Dublin. It's Medoc de Toxandria and Tim Gredley, Great Britain. Well, 8-4 for Timm and Medoc here today. Medoc and Timm were very, very well placed a couple of seasons ago in the Rolex Grand Prix of Rome Piazza di Siena, which became the very, very first Rolex Series show last summer. So we're going to stay with riders associated with the Unex competition yard. It's actually going to be staying with Great Britain and Matt Sampson, who will join us here in just a moment. As we mentioned, Matt rode Medoc, who we've just seen as part of the silver medal winning British team in La Coruña, the Europeans in Spain this summer. The reason for that is that we have some late withdrawals. If you are following along on your list, both Dennis Lynch and Harry Smulders electing to withdraw. And if you want to mark your card as well, Nicky Walker of Canada also not coming forward in our Dublin Stakes. Well, currently our qualifiers for the jump off are Laura Kraut, the USA, Kyle Timm of Canada, Bertram Allen for Ireland, Willem Greve, the Netherlands, Tom Watchman for Ireland, and Niamh McEvoy for Ireland. Well, our next man has made Canada partly his home, as now he's engaged to Canadian Championship rider Cara Chad, and he's enjoyed incredible success there. One summer alone, picking up over 20 international victories. Every single horse he has with him here this week has been a 5-star winner at the prestigious Spruce Meadows venue in Canada. This one is Ebolensky, and the rider is Great Britain's Matt Sampson. Time falls, unfortunately, for Matt and Ebolensky, so it is clear for jumping, but 2 for time there. Going into 8th position, Joe Stockdale's single time fault will be better on the ranking, and then it is our 6 clears who will divide over the short course in the jump-off. 2 for time then for Matt Sampson. To a Mexican Olympian now, multiple Olympian, member of the Aguican team here that won for Mexico in 2018. And again, we love having him with us here at the show. He's a big, big character. Riding Diamonds Are Unique. It is Federico Fernandez, Mexico. We've seen Diamonds Are Unique with Fedi this year at Rome Piazza di Siena, Aachen, and the Rolex Series shows of La Baule and Dinard in France. A jumping one for time then for Federico Fernandez. Diamonds are unique. It is a total, therefore, of 9 table A faults. Well, our next rider has been a World Cup champion. He has been European champion of our sport. He has been an Olympian, and he's a multiple winner of a Rolex Grand Slam and Rolex Series Grand Prix, including, of course, the inaugural Rolex Series Grand Prix here in Dublin 12 months ago. Our defending champion will be back tomorrow with Conor Swail, but in our Dublin Stakes, the Rolex testimony rides Fort Jump de Beaumesnil, Swiss Olympian Martin Fuchs. Our commiserations, unfortunately, going to elect to retire there. Martin Fuchs and Fort Jump de Beaumesnil not getting the start they would have liked here in our Dublin Stakes. As I say, to mark your cards tomorrow when you come and support the riders, of course, you'll be behind the tricolour of Ireland. But do keep an eye on this man. His groom, Sean Vard, comes from step aside South County Dublin, so we always do claim a bit of a leg of Martin Fuchs as well. Great to have you with us, Martin. While UAE riders have featured in the top 10 of Rolex Grand Prix before, including at Rome Piazza di Siena, this young man recently on the podium of the King George at Hickstead, coming here into Dublin. Looking for qualification for tomorrow's Grand Prix out of today's class, and there are 4 tickets up for grabs. Riding Chaco Bay, UAE Olympian Omar Abdulaziz Al-Marzouqi. For vaults in 70 seconds against that 71 seconds time allowed into 14th position for Omar Abdulaziz Al-Marzouqi. They'll be going up and down the rankings now, checking out who is already qualified to see whether that will take one of the 4 tickets from this class. It's not our top 4, it's the 4 athletes not yet qualified. So a chance we might see that UAE rider here tomorrow. That would be a great one after he had that very, very competitive finish coming into Dublin. Well, actually, it's a first-time visit here for a man who has become a household name of the sport since he became the youngest ever World Cup champion in 1984. It is a multiple Olympian for Canada with Costa Quick PS, Mario Delorier. So Mario and Costa Quick, it is 4-4, 69-28 into 11th position then for Mario. It's the Canadian team visiting us for the first time as a full team since 1978. And as I say, Mario's first time was here at Dublin. It's been a great pleasure having him. I hopefully see him tomorrow also in that Rolex Grand Prix. So now the Scottish-born, now Swiss Nations Cup rider. We saw him in action in Falsterbo and La Baule this year on the Rolex Series. It is Jason Smith and Picobello van Roosacker. Jason Smith, Picobello van Roosacker, they are going to be clear. They're going to go through to our jump-off, and they will be the 7th to compete over the short course here with us this afternoon. Oh, you're getting weary, ladies and gentlemen. We've just seen a clear round in the main ring at Dublin. Let's hear about it. If you'd think Brendan McCardle would let you away with a reaction like that in tonight's Puissance, you better get ready. We carry on. We're getting towards the end of the starting draw here. We're going to go back to another Rolex testimony now. A 3-time World Cup champion, an Olympic champion, and a man with a great connection to Ireland as a former team manager, chef to keep for the Irish team. With Dalida, Rodrigo Pessoa, Brazil. Rodrigo electing to retire there with Dalida. Of course, that's the dynamics at play here about Grand Prix qualification, and of course, knowing that out of this big starting field, there are already 7 in the jump-off. So when you have that second fence down, you start to feel like you're out of it, and it's better at this tail end of the week to start thinking about the next show on the circuit. As we carry on, of course, with the Rolex Series going in just a couple of weeks to the Stefex Brussels Masters. To Ireland for our next contender. Can we get another one into the jump-off here? He's been a long time inside the world's top 10, sitting 11th at the moment. It is Irish Olympian Darragh Kenny and 0K. Darragh Kenny, 0K, full 69.14, so going to sit in 11th place as things currently stand. And that leaves us with 4 more, it should be, to start in our Dublin Stakes, the award of the Wylie Perpetual Trophy. To Mexico, it's going to be Andres Azcárraga, a second-generation Olympian for Mexico. He was an Olympian in Paris himself last summer. This is Atlantica du Soleil, hoping to be the first Mexican contender in our jump-off here of the Dublin Stakes for 2025. Andres with the last down also for a grand total of 8 force there with l'Atlantica du Soleil. Our next rider, double clear in the Nations Cup yesterday, part of the winning Dutch team and a career winner of the Grand Prix here in Dublin, winning it in the same year as he won the Hickstead Grand Prix in Great Britain. One of only 6 riders to do that Hickstead Dublin double in the same year. It is with Casquetto van der Helle for the Netherlands, Kevin Jochens. Kevin Jochems with the single rail down, 4 faults in 68.91. That itself goes into 11th. Fastest 4 faulters, Susan Fitzpatrick staying there in 10th. Matt Sampson's 2 faults in 9th. Joe Stockdale's 1 fault in 8th. And then it's our 7 clear rides. Well, Irish Olympian, senior rider now in the Irish Army Equitation School, which will celebrate its centenary next year alongside the Aga Khan. We welcome forward Tempo Manor and Commandant Jeff Curran. Our top 5 finishers earlier on during the week. Jeff with 2 top 5s across this string of horses in the 5-star tour. It's great to have an Irish Army Equitation School rider as part of the 5-star tour. Not to be, though, in the Dublin Stakes. It's 8 faults then for Jeff Curran, Tempo Manor. Last to go then, from one eventing Olympian to another. Sandra Auffarth, Olympic gold medalist. She's been an individual medalist at World and Olympic Championships for eventing, and now starting to really make a name for herself as a top-class show jumper. 5-star Grand Prix winner last summer, double clear yesterday for the German Aga Khan team. With C'est la vie, Sandra Auffarth, Germany. Four jumping, 3 for time for Sandra and C'est la vie. It is going to be 7 in all and just outside our eventual top 20. So, getting set for the jump-off now. We're going to be bringing 7 back, or 7 qualified to come back. Laura Kraut, Kyle Timm, Bertram Allen, Willem Greve, Tom Watcherman, Niamh McEvoy and Jason Smith. As we mentioned, the dynamics of the class are that some of those final qualification tickets for tomorrow's Rolex Grand Prix were up for grabs. Bertram Allen has now taken his ticket and he is going to sit pat. He's not going to jump off today. He's going to keep the petrol in the tank, and his job today was to qualify for the Grand Prix. He's achieved that. that, so he doesn't need to jump anymore. He will be guaranteed a top 7 result, and he can mathematically be overtaken for a ticket for the Grand Prix. So 7 qualify, 6 will come back. Our crew already in the ring, starting to set up the shorter course here for our final jumping competition of the 5-star tour today. Of course, we've got more to come. We've got the 128 centimetre International Riders Pairs Relay, sponsored by Horseware Ireland. Horseware Ireland celebrating a significant anniversary this year, and that is going to be at 4:30. RDS Clock Tower Fence on the Anglesey redevelopment side. Across the middle of the ring then to number 4, the Rolex Vertical. Then following on to the in and out, number 5, the Children of Lear, the Swans, at 5A, 5B. Carrying on as was to number 6, the Celtic Spirals. Back around the left shoulder to number 9, the Tara Brooches, and then it is 2 new fences. Number 14, the Postbox and Stamp, and then across to new fence 15, which is the Vertical on the far side of the water with the Poolbeg Lighthouse wings. So 1-4, 5AB, 6-9, 14-15. The time allowed 48 seconds. 7 have qualified, 6 come back. Here's our very first clear from round 1. Let's wish her and them all the very, very best of luck. It is US Olympic and World Team Gold Medalist, US Show Jumping Hall of Famer, riding Emeraldo, Laura Kraut. Oh, that was set to be such a competitive time, which it has to be to win a jump-off like this from the front. Laura, though, with the Tara Brooches down, she finishes with 4 faults in that time of 36.91. So will be overtaken by anyone who goes double clear. But let's see what that time is worth in reference, 36.91. Great challenge, though, ladies and gentlemen. Laura Kraut. Okay, so for a while we had a North American challenge on our hands. It was USA versus Canada. Here is our Canadian contender looking for Grand Prix qualification as well with the Rain family and Aras de Fourches. Lama de Chanu, it is Kyle Timm. Just not quite their day. Kyle was hoping he could settle in a little bit steadier than Laura had gone, but it is at the cost of 2 rails down, the Children of Lear, and also that same Tara Brooch fence that Laura had down. But great to have him here as a contender. Maybe not going to be his day. Kyle Timm of Canada. Well, stepping into the ring, a career winner of the Rolex Grand Slam Grand Prix on home soil at the Dutch Masters 's-Hertogenbosch in the Netherlands. Double clear yesterday with Grand Dorado and riding his European Championships horse now in the jump-off of the Dublin Stakes. With Pretty Woman, Vant Paradis. Can we get our first double clear from Willem Greve, the Netherlands? There's our first double clear, 37.08. He is that little bit slower than Laura Kraut, so if anyone can replicate Laura's form, they could go in front of Willem, but at the moment, he is the line in the sand. You have to be double clear and faster to try and take this away from him. Ladies and gentlemen, our first double clear at the Dublin Stakes for Rolex Grand Slam Grand Prix winner, Willem Greve. Well, could this young man make it a second five-star victory of the week just to casually go with double clear in his first ever Aga Khan Nations Cup as well? From County Tipperary with Do It Easy, it is 20-year-old Tom Watchman for Ireland. Tom and Do It Easy's target is Willem Greve's time, 37.08. He's clear, is not quite fast enough. It's exactly a quarter of a second in it. Tom Watchman and Do It Easy slot into second place on the ranking at the moment. And Tom will have one more thing to do here today. He is going to be part of our parade of youth championship medalists from this summer as well. Part of the team that were medalists in Riesenbeck at the Young Riders, the under 21. What a performance, what a week, ladies and gentlemen. Double clear for Tom Watchman. So two more to see, two double clears, Willem Greve, Tom Watchman, with challengers still to come from Ireland and Switzerland before we conclude the Dublin Stakes for the award of the Wylie Perpetual Trophy here on Defender Puissance Day. The Defender Puissance itself will be our finale at 6 p.m. tonight, but before then, a lot of fun with the 128 International Riders Pairs Relay. That's going to be our next competition at 4:30. We've got our parade of youth medalists at 5:35. 5:45, Santi Serra joins us in the ring for the penultimate time this week, and then we hand it out to our MC and ringmaster, Brendan McArdle, for the Defender Puissance. Celebrating this year the 150th edition of the Dublin Horse Show. In fact, it's a 157-year history since the very, very first held on the grounds and the lawns of Leinster House right in the city centre. And next year, celebrating 100 years of international show jumping and the prestigious Aga Khan Trophy here at Dublin, alongside the centenary of the Irish Army Equitation School. Well, becoming part of the history of Irish show jumping at such a young age, just 21 years old, from Omagh, County Tyrone. A medalist this summer once again at the Youth Championships, in fact alongside Tom Watchman at Riesenbeck, and a winner of no less than 5 of the 6 legs of the Plus Vital Premier Series here at home, with Flora de Menil, Ireland's Niamh McEvoy. And Niamh has had the Irish national anthem played in her honour this week as a winner on our international 7- and 8-year-old tour. Niamh McEvoy, Flora de Menil with 37.08 to beat. cruising home in front, 1.3 seconds faster than Olympian Willem Greve. We talk about these riders like Tom Watchman, his older brother Max, Mikey Pender's just 25 years old, Niamh McEvoy, they're already veterans of this sport at such a young age. That is an incredibly assured performance. Niamh McEvoy just one round away from potentially being the winner of the Dublin Stakes. Let's hear it again. Switzerland next. Now, if we have to cheer for this man, we can make the link, the Scots-Ulster link. He's from Ayrshire originally, been riding for Switzerland for the last 2 years, riding a lot of Nations Cups for them now, including at Falsterbo and Le Mans on the Rolex Series. With Picabella van Roosacker for Switzerland, Jason Smith. He was up at the first split, but then just that little bit of a slip, and Jason Smith had to wind down the pressure on Picabella van Roosacker. It is a great, great performance. He goes on the podium into third. Willem Greve will take second, but what that means is that once again here on Defender Puissance Saturday, we're going to hear Aaron Nevian for a 5-star international class at our 150th Dublin Horse Show. Your winner, Niamh McEvoy, Florida Menil. And you are one of the best audiences in the sport around the world. I don't know if you know that, ladies and gentlemen, but that is all the more reason for you to stay with us now for the awards ceremony coming up just as quickly as we can, where we're going to celebrate that Irish victory for Niamh McEvoy. Our congratulations to second place, Willem Greve, Jason Smith in third, Tom Watchman in fourth, double clear. Laura Kraut with the fast 4-falter in fifth, Kyle Timm in sixth. Bertram Allen will post a result here, having qualified for the jump-off, and that was enough to secure him, we believe, place in the Rolex Grand Prix tomorrow, a Rolex Series event, 500,000 euros in the prize fund. Part of the over 1 million euros in prize money for the 5-star jumping here at Dublin Lane. The Royal Dublin Society, the member-led organisation with a history dating back to the 1730s, has equestrianism as one of its core tenets for the development of the arts, sciences, industry, agriculture and equestrianism, and the support that the RDS gives, particularly through prize money, the development of sponsors, of course, to support that prize money, the likes of major principal partners like Rolex, but our over 1 million euros in prize money for the 5-star is backed up then by the money in the national show jumping, the international young horses, and all of the show ring classes here as well, making this one of the biggest events in the RDS's annual calendar.